This is an open letter to Mr. Jordan Klepper, I believe your name is, sir. Here's the thing, sir. Bravo. Great job you're doing in comedy. Salute. Here's the thing, sir. I've noticed some of your work. You like to go to the Trump country or wherever there is these rallies for the gentleman. You go over there and you take a magnifying glass with you and you go over there and try to, judge the unwashed masses, let's put it this way. And it makes sense. I have the same feeling that I had when I used to walk jaywalking. Jaywalking, I think he called it. He used to, get a microphone just like you and show how stupid people are. But the thing is, and great thing that you guys do it. Great job you're doing, Mr. Jordan Klepper. Keep it up. Showing the ignorance is hopefully a way to avoid ignorance. But the point is this. You have very little ground to stand on. Very little. And the reason for that is that since 1933 till today, more than about 60% of the the chief executives were Democrats. Over 60%. So it's not even 50-50. I will, leave a link of the graph under this letter. Basically, the Progressive Party, or the party, but your party, the party that calls itself progressive, has been in charge about 60% of the time for the past 100 years almost. And this is the condition of your average man. Over half of the voters feel that way, have that kind of a perspective in life, that it has resulted to a solution that you can barely stand. I mean, they say you make your bed in it, you have to sleep in it. Sir, the Progressive Party in Uncle Sam's land, the party that calls itself progressive in Uncle Sam's land, has been in charge over 60% of the time since 1933, and this is the majority now have very little information or grasp of information, grasp of reality, and facts and figures, and many can't do figures, and this is the result of a system in which over half the time, over 60% of the time, your party has been in charge. And your party apparently doesn't have any problem with this issue, because the same people have to buy the same hopefully the same people will buy a better advertisement from your people next time. I mean, here's the thing. How is the measure? If you educate your people well, your people should not want to enjoy world wrestling thing, this fake bashing each other's head about, that your people are interested into their older years. But the reality is, if the education is well, after age 6, people should lose interest in any kind of fake wrestling. After age 6. And, and by after age 12, if they're still well educated, education is well, after the age 12, they should not be interested in watching sports either. and after age 18 they should not, be interested in a lot of things that are, in general doesn't match the level of just information that has come your citizens' way. Good information, good perspective in life, good civility, good worldview, well traveled, well read about at least. Or your Hollywood is supposedly run by the left. What has your Hollywood created? A bunch of, one-sided stories and very directed at one enemy or other over time. Basically what, Hollywood you can consider, which is left run, you can consider a propaganda arm of the CIA. And it had, and there are many evidence that the people who originated Hollywood were ex-CIA or current CIA or whatever CIA. Were connected to intelligence in order to shape minds. So you can easily, send one of the white guys in and save the world, show it on the screen, so to make other people buy it. That we are the good guys. Don't you see on your fucking screen? We are the good guys. Even if we are going up your ass in Afghanistan and we are clearly white and we are clearly not from around you, we don't even speak your language. But here we are to save you. We don't speak your language, but we are here to save you. All over the world. This is what your party has also sold. And may I remind you that, Ukrainians are under the current war specifically because Uncle Sam's managers and the British didn't want to have any kind of agreement with Russia. This is not an Ukrainian war. If it was an Ukrainian war, they wouldn't have any problem filling their ranks. This is somebody else's war. But your party has bought hook, line, and sinker because, sir, your party has, all parties have turned into a mafia kind of thing. Haven't you noticed? They as far as I may be wrong, this is the knowledge that I have. I may be wrong, but as far as the information that has come out, Mr. Biden or people around Mr. Biden were the direct beneficiary from some kind of business deal in Ukraine. Sort of like they paid their protection money to one person, two people, five people, a bunch of senators, a bunch of representatives. They bought a whole group of people. Now that group of people keeps sending them money to fight a useless war. Yes, it's useless if you ease Russia's concern that basically Ukraine will never join NATO and Ukraine will remain neutrally, hopefully staying within Russia's sphere of influence. If that can be agreed, then that would be the stop of the war. But you don't accept that everybody's free to join my gang. This is even the view of your party, Mr. Jordan Klepper. The last party that was in charge, like a gang, they had an Ashkenazi over here in charge, the whole country of Ashkenazis in West Asia, Israel, bombing the shit out of the arms that Uncle Sam is sending so Israel can bomb the shit out of the natives over there. And you have a hot war, you started another hot war in which don't you see Uncle Sam is on both places? Uncle Sam is one side of the fight. If another fight starts, you see how is it that all the wars around the world, Uncle Sam is just on the other side? How many enemies does Uncle Sam have? And if you have a problem with everybody, then maybe the problem is you. You see, it's a you problem if you keep going around and fighting everybody, Mr. Jordan Klepper. If I go out of my home tomorrow morning and I fight with 10 people, and those people, they each have had one fight that day, but I had 10, then it's not the people problem, it's me problem. If you're fighting 5, 6, couple of declared war and 5, 6, 7, 8 undeclared war around the world at the same time, then it's a you problem. It's not the rest of the world problem. And anybody else says, they veto them, then they bring them to White House, the new president, bring them to the White House and slap their ass. Salute. The one before, they just didn't slap their ass in the White House, they went and slapped their ass privately in a room. But the slapping was going on. That's how you keep, if when you're running a gang, that's how you keep your gang in line, and how you keep those shopkeepers who are not willing to drop their pants in line. You break kneecaps. Mrs. Harris was as big a gangster as Mr. Trump in her own world, in the whole world of black and brown, and in their gangster world as opposed to the white gangster. Well, Mr. Trump is a white gangster, Mrs. Harris is a black gangster, brown gangster. Nevertheless, a gangster. Gangster will have no kids. Because the gangster with a kid may soften up. I'm sorry, in Mrs. Harris, you are trying to elect a brown vagina. You are basically putting this vagina on the stick and saying, hey, vote for vagina. We never had a vagina in the White House. Let's vote for brown vagina. What else do you want? It's a brown vagina. Yeah, it was a brown vagina, but it was still a gangster. She was still a gangster all the way in with the previous gangster who, Mr. with all this due respect. But when I say gangster, you don't have to show me the proof. If you're fighting where somewhere you have been paid, then you're a mercenary, you're a gangster. In general, BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard wanted to get paid on behalf of the country, I guess. On behalf of Uncle Sam, all the Uncle Sam's children, on behalf of all of them. In each of these wars, the main one who benefit are the shareholders of the stockholder, the shareholders of BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. Any of these wars, anybody owning any share in any of these corporations win, and those who own a lot of those shares, they win a lot. As you know. So Mr. Biden said, yeah, I am all for BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard winning. I'm all for that. Also, I would like to have some kind of personal winning as well. Therefore, his son ended up becoming somebody in Ukraine to, started making good income in Ukraine. Why can't I start making good income in Peru? Because I have nothing to do with Peru. That's what gangsterism is. I want to have something to do with you. How about you pay me now? And please don't act like it's anything beside this. None of these are for free. The freedom of who? Freedom from living? Those who die are freed from living. Is that the point? No, Mr. Jordan Klepper. If you're saying that these people are uneducated and simple-minded, and so many of them are so stupid, Trump supporters. the unwashed masses. Yeah, your point is well taken, but imagine our puzzle, me as an alien, imagine our puzzle here that you are showing your own wares and holding your nose. And meanwhile, you have been the progressive party, the responsible party, the good party for more than 60% of the time during the last 100 years. And in reality, I'm trying to tell you there is no difference between Mr. Trump and Mrs. Harris. She just was a gangster who did things behind closed doors. Trump does it in front of the cameras. He's not ashamed of his gangster ways. She may be. The problem is not why he's acting like a gangster. The problem is why you keep wanting to elect gangsters, period. Why do you keep wanting to elect gangsters to, break knees or get paid? Pay me or I break your knees, and everybody has to disarm. That's one thing that the gangster cannot stand is somebody in who's not paying their dues become armed. Nope, that's not happening. You will not have nuclear weapons until you start paying, or forget about it. We don't even trust you if you start paying. You're not going to have nuclear weapons, and you're under sanctions until we find somebody who's willing to pay. The rest of it is bullshit, Mr. Jordan Klepper. This is how it works with Uncle Sam's managers. The gangster. Why you keep choosing gangsters as executive head of executive? Because popular vote is salesmanship. Whoever is a better salesman. When you go to popular vote, you get the best salesman. And the thing about salesmen is they like to be gangsters. Being gangsters, judges don't like to be gangsters. That's why they became judges. But police officials don't become gangsters, don't want to become gangsters. That's why they became police officials. But in your police system, the whole police force becomes eventually kind of a gang with a gang mentality as well. But the point is this, that salesmen sell well. Mrs. Harris was trying to sell her brown vagina. Mrs. Clinton was trying to sell her white vagina. But they were both old gangsters. Hard gangsters. Bernie, on the other hand, he wasn't a gangster. So your gang, which is a Democratic gang, kicked him out. So your Democratic gang kicked him out at the last minute, so their preferred gangster, Mrs. Clinton, can take charge. Because, either way, our gangster is a better salesman than their gangster. But the thing is the same. As we see, the gangsters are cutting Medicare and Medicaid at home, but they were not willing to let go of any of their territorial claim around the world. The military budget goes up, but everything else has to be cut. And you're thinking to yourself, who does that? A gangster who sees there may be some territorial setbacks on his turf. He rather spend the money on arming himself in order to keep his turf better under control End of story. Then maybe feed his family, because hey, we can go without food and water for a while. I gotta get better arms to defeat these motherfuckers. That's a gangster mentality. Yes, and I have read, Godfather. So you folks have the same mentality in both parties. You just in one party you try to sell something beside what you really are, how you really behave, with some color and some you try to sell color and sexuality. It's like identity of Democratic Party recently has become gay rich men. That has become the identity of the Democratic Party. You have to believe in certain sexual things, okay, but then also how wealth is great. Here's the thing, Mr. Jordan Klepper. The Progressive Party of your land was in charge more than 60% of the time during the past 100 years, and the education has went to such a degree that 30, 40, 50-year-old 30, 40-year-olds still watch World Wrestling Federation, and then they graduate from there into the new one, Ultimate Fighting Champion. They used to graduate into boxing, then now they graduate into Ultimate Fighting. It's just boxing is not enough. I like to see some jaws be broken with knees. That's just, boxing is not enough. I like to see. Here's the thing, sir. Your people should mature out of these perspectives long time ago, at a very younger age. You're still interested. If you're 5, or if you're 6, you're still interested in world wrestling. Basically, world wrestling, a vulgar exhibition of physical prowess in a fake manner. A fake. Regular boxing is, or UFC is a real exhibition of physical prowess. And this is something that 40-year-olds should be interested in, or 30-year-olds should be. No. There should be some interest in it, but up to age 12. It's like up to 6, they should like World Wrestling Federation. Why? If this would happen, if your education system was good, if you are in charge more than 60% of the time, and this is not the result you got, then I say you suck too. You're literally showing your wares to us. Hey, look how stupid my people are. And what you're saying is, look how stupid the people who vote for the other party are. Okay. Yeah, I've been a salesman. Your best customers are the stupid ones. Whatever you give them, they sign and they leave, and they will pay that car off till the end of their life. But this is your best customer. But who has created this customer? In your view, Mr. Trump's customer. Who was involved in creating them? You. More than 60% of the time, you. The supposed progressive you. That's the problem with the Democratic Party. It's just another wing of the empire. The empire needs, the empire to take off. It needs a left wing and a right wing. But nevertheless, going towards the same goal of full domination of the planet by force. Not through, we will build universities in your land. No. We want to build military bases on your land. And we want our corporations to have your resources for free. Any questions? If you have any questions, we might fire a bullet between your eyes. So look. Here's the thing, sir, Mr. Jordan Klepper. The progressives have gone along with not educating your people well enough to grow out of a lot of bad shit, fighting and board wrestling, this encouragement to, yes, you got to be an alpha, you have to shoot first, ask questions later. Your system is driving your men into more aggression. And apparently the Democratic Party didn't have any problem with it. Never did. Never has. Not that you should ban anything by force. No. The education should be so good that, you know how, many people grow out of watching cartoons? Does that ring any bell? You know how many people have used to grow out of watching cartoons or, simplistic perspective on life. How many of your people still keep a simplistic perspective in their life while they're still 30, 40, 50? I mean, your best shows, the most popular shows are Fox shows, which are basically dolls sitting on a couch talking nonsense, making a sell for the good guys and the bad guys, in short skirts, dolls in short skirts, in pastel colored short skirts, sitting around the couch, and this is your talking nonsense about how how they're on board with imperialism and how we're the good guys and they're the bad guys. We should go to smash their mouths. And you bring them in different colors and different dresses, and this is one of your best viewed shows. I've seen some clips of it on the internet, but apparently this gets high rating. Whose problem is that? Vaginas with a passable face are selling crazy ideas in short skirts, and a lot of people are buying. I would say you have done zero work in education. Education is, in general, education is comprehensive. Education is you bring the intelligence of the educated higher. Intelligence, general perspective, paradigm, whatever you want to call it. You change that and you make it better. Elevate it. Have you done that? Has the Democratic Party done that? If they had done that, at least for the time that they were in charge, or if in this your democratic system it was possible to do all that during the 60% that they were in charge, obviously they didn't do it, apparently because they didn't care or they didn't want to, or they were paid enough not to do it. Mrs. Clinton, for many months or years, she wanted to bring healthcare to the masses, and after being the center of attention, which is apparently the whole point of being a politician in your system of governance, after she was the center of attention for supposedly bringing some healthcare to the unwashed masses, after being the center of attention for a long time, eventually she gave up and says, sorry, fuck you, unwashed masses, you don't need healthcare, you don't need education, and you don't need housing. After she was the center of attention, and probably after she got paid enough to drop it, with book deals. These #1 bestsellers, I think, a lot of them are just fictitious. Maybe somebody's with a lot of money is just buying the books and burning them. But number one bestsellers every time. There is no number one bestseller from Vietnam. There is no one best novel bestseller from Nigeria. There is no bestseller novel, New York Times bestseller. There is no bestseller novel from any other shithole on this planet except a few handful of people. A speaker on this TV program or a speaker on that TV program sends out a book and suddenly becomes bestseller. Never a Nigerian book, a Honduran book. Nope. On the New York top 100. Nope. Not many. Has to be very special. Why? Because your whole fucking system is rigged. This and it's all to stroke your ego. To stroke your racially, to stroke your ego, religiously, to stroke your ego, to say we are the only one who have any kind of literature, we are the only one who have any kind of poems, we are the only one who, the only one who count. If we don't don't agree, we veto it. How many times did the progressive Biden from your party vetoed a very progressive idea of let's stop killing people? You're not telling me, you're trying to tell me that by showing me the stupid who voted for that party, they voted for that party because they're stupid. Okay, fine. Who made them that way? More than 60% of the time your party supposedly was in charge. Apparently for your party also wars and intrusion, suppression of other places in other parts of the world, which is a basics of imperialism. Apparently for your party that is also more important than educating the masses. And now you go and interview some of these masses and you say, oh, you see, these people are uneducated. Yes, it's your tribe. It's your tribe. Believe me, if you take that microphone and you go into the streets of Japan or China and you ask the same questions, many of them, you get a higher percentage of truth, reality, than you get in the people you interview. Again, who's at fault? These are not Mexicans, these are not Canadians, these are Americans. Why didn't your party do anything about education? Why are so many uninterested? They are brought up to be simple-minded, have simple perspective, not care more about what they wear than any new ideas of worth that they have recently thought about. I mean, you get what you get, sir. You get how you invest in. And the Democratic Party has been in charge for more than 50% of the time in the last 100 years. Apparently they didn't care either.